You don't be the don't know what the last one was all about, so I'm wrong. Right, I'm going to do some actual electrical content on something that I'm working on at the minute, actually. It's worked out quite nice. I'm going to show you the process of fault finding an AC motor. In this case, it's an oil pump. So on this site, we've got loads of engines. There's the load of engines. People are sort of working out work for now, and I'm leaving, so I don't really care. I'm not negative in anyone. So yeah, there's the engines. They've got oil in. Don't know if you know about oil. It stops things fucking sticking together and shit. Don't know much about myself. Previously, we get oil delivered in drums. So we get oil delivered in drums, then we'd take the oil out into drums, and then we'd put the new oil in, and we'd be left with a load of drums, and all the drums look the same, and it's a bit of a fuck around. There's lots of manual handling. Because the firm I work for are really good, they went, this is stupid, it's costing time and money, and it's putting people at risk. So they bought these tanks, look. One's clean, and one's dirty, like your mum. These are an ongoing project. You might have seen me doing these before, thinking it's these same 2 tanks. It's not. There's loads of them. I think I put about 8 sets in now, and I think there's another 10 to go or something. I've been doing it for about 18 months. It's a bit of a long project because it takes a while to get the tanks. Anyhow, these ones have been delivered, and I think I've done a store on these where I fitted the tank controls. So up here, look, you've got a bund alarm to tell you that it's leaking inside the bund if it is. You've got an iron low, which is dead basic. Over here, you've got a digital one that's on 326 at the minute, which is probably wrong, don't work very low, below 500. And that speaks to our control system, so we know how much waste oil we've got on a site from anywhere in the UK and how much clean oil we've got on a site from anywhere in the UK. If I go to this one, yeah, that one's got 5,100 litres in. So basically, so we don't run out of oil, because without oil, you can't run an engine. Or if the oil goes bad, you need to change. So that's a bit of the rundown. What's happened here is, this clean one, which has just been filled with oil, and then there's a dirty one, which obviously ain't got any oil in, because they haven't used the system to do oil changes yet. However, to get the oil out, so to get the oil down the pipe, the oil needs to be in the pipe. That's called priming. So these particular pumps can't suck air with a liquid at the end, so you've got to get some oil into the line, because then the movement of the oil drags the other oil through. The easiest way to do that is to connect this hose, the clean hose, to the dirty hose and pump some clean oil through. And they've got special ends on them, look like this, that basically stop the oil coming out or going anywhere. They're quite clever, I don't know what they're called, someone will tell me. But they keep the oil in the pipe, basically. So you pump it down this one, pump it to that one, then you can run it out, put the oil in the engine and take the oil out. Easy fucking peasy, yeah? If anyone's got any questions so far, let me know. Good. So the job's a bit fragmented. The tanks get dropped off. Then I come and put the instruments in. Then they come and put the power to them and the pumps and stuff. Then I come and set the instruments up, yeah? Then you can't do anything because you don't want to run an oil pump dry, because it's like 2 little interlinking cogs. I'll put a picture up here if it's YouTube. There you go. It's 2 interlinking cogs, so you don't want to run it dry, it fucks them up, because the oil that is being pumped, whether it's clean or dirty, is actually used as a lubricant within the pump itself. You can run them for a couple of seconds, but if you run them dry like a lot of pumps, you'll fuck them. Be aware of that. That's lesson 1. Don't run any kind of pump dry. So what's basically happened is, they've got the oil, everything's ready to go, and they're getting ready to use it. This one, that's what a pump should sound like. That is probably trying to pump oil. It might need a little prime to get the oil up into the pump. I don't know. I don't massively know how it all works, but it might need hand filling with a bit of oil just to get the part that goes into the tank to have some oil in. I don't know. Sounds a bit dry to me, that. It sounds like it's not doing a lot. Yeah, it doesn't sound like there's a viscous liquid in there. That's the first lesson, is listening to pumps will give you a lot of information. That sounds to me like it might be running dry. Cut. So the report I've had is that pump is working. Now, it might be spinning, but I'm not sure if it's working. I'm not sure if there's oil going in there, as I've said. There is a way of testing that. We'll just put a bit into a bucket. But yeah, that might need priming. So the guy said that one's working. But again, when I got here, I'm not so sure. This one, however, he says keeps tripping. So there's a couple of possibilities there. I haven't actually touched it yet. I've just got my gear out ready. So we're going to have a look together on how we'd fault find this, because what I'm not going to do is just turn the fucker on for it to blow up, trip again, which may trip the breaker at the end, might trip the overload, or it might fuck the pump. So what I'm not going to do is just come down here and start banging it in to see if it works. Let's do some basic testing first to see if we've got everything the pump requires to operate before we fuck that pump and we have to go in there and get it out. I don't want to do that. So first of all, we will disconnect the pump, because I've no idea what situation it's in, and like I say, I'm not going to shag it. Right, let's go through the process. So now I'll change the camera handle and we'll go through the process of checking things without fucking things up, because start fucking things up, it gets expensive. Yeah, we are engineers. I'm an engineer anyway. We diagnose faults with things, specific things. We don't just bang things on till they blow up or cause more problems than we've already got. So let's go through it. That's the LV room. There's a cable that comes out there and it goes to this one, then it goes to that one, because you don't run both the pumps at the same time really. You suck the oil out, then fill the oil. So they treat it like one pump, because only one's ever run at the same time, yeah? So if I've got voltage here, I've got voltage. So the first thing we do is check on those terminals if I've got some voltage. And to do that, I'm going to do the entire thing with this Chevron our new F607 that they gave me. This was given to me. Yeah, they gave it me. I'm not showing it because they're paying me to show it or because they gave it me. I'm showing you it because it's literally designed for fucking round with pumps and stuff. I think it's a really good bit of kit. It does everything I need to do for fault diagnosing this pump, except it doesn't do... it's got ohms, but it ain't got meg ohms, but that's... You don't want it on there, yeah? So let's go through it. First of all, let's check we've got a voltage on the incoming terminals down here. Just be aware I'm recreating this, yeah? So there's my meter lock. It comes with crop clips. The one good thing about these is, the one good thing about the Chevron kit is the leads are quality, yeah? That's nice, flexible cable. Like Flukes that I used to always bang on about how good the leads are. The leads on Chevrons are good, yeah? So I've got me on my earth lock. There's my voltage. So I go to L1, got voltage. L2, got the right... Thumb slipped off, run and gun in. There you go. 230 in L1. 230 in L2, doing that funny focus thing. 230 in L3. So my phases are coming in. I can't do cross phases, but I've done the cross phases, done my outsides, my lefts and my rights. And I've basically got 400 volts there. I'm not going to show that because I can't do it one-handed. I'm not getting tripods out and stuff. I'm not fucking on YouTube.
So that was a fucking lie.
So yeah, incoming voltage is fine. Next thing is to check up here. So I will check up here. L1, L2, and L3. Right, let me run through what I've done so far. The feed comes in through the isolator for isolation purposes. It then goes through the trunking and goes to this breaker, which is the breaker providing protection for the oil pump contactor and below it the overload. This provides protection for the cables, if you like. This is the contactor that switches it on and off, and the overload provides thermal and magnetic protection at the correct amp rating as set by this dial with its hand reset for the motor. So this protects the motor and that protects the circuit, if you like. Don't really need that here, but it's in anyway. But yeah, that's the overload bit that protects the motor. So I know I've got 3 phase there, yeah? Now I want to know if I've got the phase at the contactor. I don't want to know if they're coming out the contactor. So I'm going to disconnect the motor so I can prove that all of this assembly, which is protecting the motor, is okay. So to do that without starting the motor, I'm going to disconnect the motor cables down here. Why are you fucking lying? Why would I disconnect? If I want to disconnect this overload, I've got to disconnect all them control cores there, look, to get L3 out. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come down here to these terminals. These are the motor terminals, look, UVW1. I'll disconnect the motor that's going out here, which is brown, black, grey, the right order. That way I'll be able to test it to here. So I'll be able to check the voltages are right. My finger's not as close as it looks, by the way, even though I've fucking 8 pointers and it's isolated. But I'm going to test it out here. So I know after this it goes to the motor and I'll prove the voltages here. And then I'll check the motor. Yeah, cheers electrical contractor for putting stranded cables in a terminal bareback. It can be done, like it's not a fucking problem if you get them in properly, but look at the fucking state of those. They've clearly twisted, they've gone in, so yeah, fucking ferrule them up, you fucking tramps. Anyhow, now I'm going to test the voltage, so I'm going to turn this on. Right, I'll stop and I'll turn it on. I'm going to test the voltages are getting out to what would be the motor, but without running the motor, so I don't fuck the motor up if the motor's got something wrong with it or damage it any further if there's something wrong with the control system. So now the panel's live. That's the contactor. I don't know if these come off anymore. They used to come off. There they go. So that when that goes in, it's switching the 3 phases all the way through and it should appear live there. So what we'll do is we'll just prove that they're not live here now because we might have a sticky contact. So there's no voltage there now. Ignore that 2 volts. There's no voltage there now, really. Ignore that little spurious voltage. And there's no voltage there now, yeah? So let's now come around the front. There's a oil pump start and oil pump stop. I'll press start while showing you this, look. So watch that contactor. That contactor's just pulled in. So now if we've got the 3 phases down here, Oh, we haven't. What the fuck is going off? We ain't got brown. Ah, we've got L2 and we've got L3. There's no L1, right. I think you can agree that I am doing this live, yeah, not live electrically, I'm doing it live because I've just found out now that at that terminal, there doesn't appear to be an L1. Now, I was not expecting that. I thought the pump maybe had something stuck in it, or it was vacuumed or something like that, so we've actually discovered the fault quicker than we thought, which is not great for your knowledge, but I'll go through the rest of the process. But now I'm just going to look at why there's no voltage on there, but the contact's still pulled in. Let's have another look. I've stopped now. Well, I stopped to talk to you, but I've stopped because I didn't get the result I was expecting. So at this point, whenever you test it, it's always good to stop, think, move away, and just recap what you've done. Like, have I done something wrong, or is there no voltage on that L1? Let's look at that. Let's check that, because it wasn't what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting because it's a fault, but yeah, at this point you go, whoa, stop, come away, and have a little think about it, which is what I'm doing now. We can think for another 5 seconds if you want before this video runs out. I've not done anything. I generally haven't done anything. So let's have a look. So, right, let's start from the beginning because I've come away and I'm going back now. So, my panel's still live. My contact's still engaged, yeah? And down here, I've got this voltage there, look. Oh, it's gone to the wrong setting. Hang on. It's changed settings. It's turned off. 1 second. Right, we're back. I've got that set and some auto power off thing. I don't know why I've done it. I'll have to have a look in the book. I've not even read the book yet. So, right, try and get you in here, yeah? Let's go on L3. L3's got 230 volts here, yeah? L2 has got 230 volts here. L1, it's got 230 volts here now. What the fuck is going off? Have we got it up here? Got 230 volts up there. Is that cable loose? No. We've got it down here now. What about... Hey, up, there you go, look. Stop, isolate. Wait there. Just interlude here. See now the contact is on. I've just started again, so let me stop it, yeah? So I press the stop button, contact comes out. Press the start button, contact pulls in. It's live, yeah? Watch this when I isolate it. It's fell out. That's one of the main points of an adult starter. When I turn this back on now, that has not pulled in. That's a safety feature of a dull starter. That's one of the safety features of a dull starter. It's got no voltage protection or loss of power protection or whatever you're going to call it, yeah? So say you're operating a meat grinder and you're shoving the meat with your bare hands because you fucking don't know what you're doing. Then there's a power cut to the building and you're like, oh, the meat grinder's stopped. Maybe it's got something stuck in it, yeah? So you start ramming your foot in there or something stupid like that, like you see on them Chinese videos online. And then suddenly the power comes back on. The motor won't start, yeah? A lot of drills have that feature, mains drills, you remember them? Yeah, so it's got no voltage protection. So when the voltage went away, the contactor dropped out, it requires what we call a manually dependent reset. So you can start it, doink. You can stop it, doink. If the power goes off, you are physically required to come and restart it. It's a very rare occurrence where you let it come back on as soon as the power went on. But yeah, that's a dull start thing. So let's continue this fault. Right, I'm isolated again. So there's something not quite right. That's tight. That's tight. Oh, you fucking... This is the problem with overload. You can't get in there. I would assume that's tight. Yeah, they're in. I can visually see they're in as well. Oh, way up. There we go. Here we go. Look. Panel builder's never tightened it up. That's the problem. So the reason the pump was probably tripping is because it was two-phasing. So yeah, that's a loose connection. Has that been tightened up? No, that terminal's never been tightened up. Are they tight? That's tight. That's tight. That's probably the problem. They've not tightened the one up. So what I'll do is I'll put these motors back in now and I'll run it on two-phase so you can hear it. So basically the diagnostic at the minute is, and we're going to prove that shortly, is that the L1 was not connected properly on the top of the terminal. Therefore, the motor was only receiving L2 and L3. It's a synchronous motor, isn't it? Is that right? I think it's a synchronous motor. It needs all three phases to give it a little shove round. Because one's missing, it will be doing what they call two-phasing or even single-phasing. If you try and start with two phases, it will often not start. If you lose that phase when the motor's running, it will sound like someone having a wank in a biscuit doing blah, 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 shaking around like a motherfucker, yeah? So now, for the purposes of education, I'm going to leave that cable out, I'm going to turn it back on, and I'm going to start it, and hopefully I'll be able to let you hear what a pump that's two-phasing trying to start is. It's a bit like if you need three people to shove something along, but only 2 of them are pushing. So it'll make a The bad news is, because people have been turning it on, probably takes a few seconds to trip in 2-phasing, and because the state is not moving, it could have knackered 2 of the windings. If it is fucked, I'm not going to fuck it anymore, so I'm going to be quick, yeah? You won't hear much of it, you'll probably hear it. Here we go, stand by. Yeah, hear that buzz? Stopped. So, I'll do another test with the amp meter. Woo! With the Chevron new F607. Gotta give them a plug because they give me this for free. Yeah, don't mind it because they're good lads. They get one of these away for someone, helping the community and all that, and they're really good. Technical. This is the sales bit, yeah? So what we'll do is, leave L1 disconnected. Let's look at the full load current on grey. Now this could be hard, so I'm going to put this on here, get the amp meter working, I'm going to show you what it's trying to pull. Because it's 2-phasing, it'll be pulling more amps on the other 2 phases to try and get it to move, because without the movement, the amps goes high. So let's show you. It's set for 5.5 amps on the overload, look. You won't see that, but it is. So let's see what it's actually pulling when it's trying to 2-phase on grey and black. This is sort of a test I need to do to prove it. So you'll see there's no current there. I'm going to quickly start it. Whoa, what was that? That was the hose reel track. That was the wrong button. That's made the hose reel go in. I'll quickly start it now. It's pulling 16 amps. That's not good. Pulling 16 amps on grey. Let's do black. Now we're on black. It's pulling 16 amps again. It's only rated for 5.5. Now the good news is, because it's pulling such a high current, this overload will operate quickly. I'm not going to let it get to the stage where the overload operates, but that is how the overload protects the motor when it's 2-phasing, because it draws more current than the other 2 phases. Therefore, this overload set to 5.5 will trip, and hopefully, if it's not done repeatedly, protect the motor from damage, because overloads are cheap and motors are expensive. Right, let's put that L1, let's isolate, put L1 back in, and do that again and check all the phases loadings to see if the windings aren't knackered. Right, that's back in now. The circuit should be healthy and good, so let's see what amps we get on this one. Obviously, it's running dry, but it won't matter for a few seconds. Pump's running at 1.95 amps on brown. Let's go on to black. Pump's running 1.79 amps on black. And grey. Pump's running 1.82 amps on grey. So the last 2 are a little bit higher. Maybe there's been a little bit of winding damage. I don't know. I think it'll probably work though once it gets a bit of meat behind it. So that is fixed. The only issue is here, because it's never worked, I've sort of commissioned it now. And the thing we need to be aware of is that pump going in the right direction. So now they're going to have to purge it. But because the pump is working and that pump is working, they'll be able to run them. And if they get any problems with their lines, they'll know that they've either got to put the oil in to purge it or they need to change direction. I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to start pumping oil around, because oil ain't my business. It's a bit of advertising coming up now, so if you don't like it, sorry Eddie. Yeah, these are brilliant for working on motors. There's other stuff that's brilliant for working on motors, but Chevron gave me this one and I've been super fucking happy with it. I genuinely do use it, even though it looks brand new, because I look after the tools. It's the F607, that's the top of the range one. It connects to your phone on Bluetooth and graphs, which is fucking brilliant. I'll quickly try and show that in a minute, even though I don't need to. I will show it because it's a really good bit of kit. It is a dead good bit of kit, and it's great for motors. It does all sorts of mad shit. This one does harmonics and everything and shit like that. But they do a cheaper one, and also they've got this really groovy on the back of the case little hook for a screw lock, which is good. But yeah, if you the kind of person that's running around sites doing motors, obviously combined with a little Mega, this is brilliant. And I'll just show you the graphing bit, because that's what I was hoping to get to. I thought this would be a bit more of an in-depth video where it was like a bit sneaky and the graphing would show, but it don't turn out like that. It's just not been commissioned or built properly, but never mind. But yeah, I'll just show you it connected to my Android phone. So I've paired my phone by Bluetooth. Yeah, you press these 2 buttons, it turns Bluetooth on. You connect it to your Bluetooth, you tell it what device it is. I'm not going to show it because it might go dead easy, or it might be a complete bastard, because everyone knows what Bluetooth's like. Sometimes even your Apple AirPods don't connect, but it connects all right reasonably, what I've seen. Obviously, I could have the panel door shut, and it would still communicate with the phone. And when I press it, the screen fucking goes off on my phone. There we go, so I've got a screenshot where it's set wrong. And there's my currents look on the phone. And also, there's a graph, which is brilliant. I like this because I can stop it, and down it goes, look. And I can watch my little inrush. There we go, and I got my little inrush, look. It's a really powerful tool for people working with motors, and I absolutely love it. And I'm so happy Chevron gave it to me. And I don't want to sound like a fucking influencer when I say that, but I generally am. It's a little bit of a game changer. Don't buy one if you're an ass splashing spark. It's not for everyone, but what it does is fucking brilliant. Yeah, I can't fault it. Genuinely can't fault it. And I'm not saying that. That's it, I'm done. I've showed you all the Chevron gear, it's really good. And just one more little thing here, they're really supportive of the electrical community. The other day, I asked them to chuck something in a pot for something, and they chucked one of them straight in, yeah? Kev and all the reps at Chevron are excellent technical resources, even if you don't know what you want to buy. Even if you're just trying to buy something that you think might exist, yeah? They're fucking brilliant. Everyone who's used them, who's seen me using the stuff or seen the podcast, which is sponsored by them, yeah? Everyone I spoke to who's had something off them has been dead happy with them. And I used this today, so I thought I'd do this video, one, to teach you, and two, to give a bit of a plug, because it's good. And like I say, I've been really happy with what they've done for the community and us. So yeah, if you want something, but you don't know what you want, give them a shout. I'm sure they'll be honest with you. And if they don't do it, they'll say we don't do it. And if they do it, they'll offer you all their options. And like I say, they do them from like reasonably priced up to that bum raping one, which it is. But that graphine's mint. You can save the grass oil. So yeah, cheers. Full disclosure, I missed a bit, yeah. Just be aware, Chevron do not currently support Apple, and I don't think they've got any plans to. So if you've got an Apple phone and you buy something like that, you do need to purchase like a cheap Android tablet or cheap Android phone. Like I'm going to have to, because that phone I just showed you, a work phone, and I ain't buying a fucking Android when I'm going on my own to use my phone. So yeah, just bear that in mind, that you might have to go out and buy a cheap Android phone. I'd advise you, but I don't know fucking nothing about Android phones, because I'm not poor.